Well, if you're a gun voter in St. Francis County, you have a choice to make in the upcoming August 6th Republican Party primary. Chad Brown versus Mike Miller versus Becky Laubinger. Who's going to fight for your gun rights in the Missouri House? Stay tuned, guys. We're breaking this race down for you right now. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. The August primary is in sight, and we're being asked by a growing number of voters in St. Francis County about this three-way open seat matchup between Becky Laubinger, Mike Miller, and Chad Brown. It's northern St. Francis County. You can see it right here on the map. Certainly pro-gun country. Then again, most of Missouri is pro-gun country. And the question you're always asking us is, how do we know who we can trust? At election time, everyone, and I mean everyone, magically is pro-gun. Everyone's a champion. Everyone's a hero. How do we know as gun voters who we can trust? And that question is especially hard to answer in an open seat race like this, where we have no incumbent and no vote history to look at and give you guys information on. And so in a situation like this, we rely pretty heavily on our candidate survey program and public statements made by the candidates when it comes to your gun rights. Again, talk is really cheap, so their public statements don't count for a lot. What we care about mostly here is their votes, if they have any, and their candidate survey, where they put their views on your gun rights in writing. We're going to begin this video with Chad Brown. Chad Brown has surveyed 100% pro-gun with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. And what that means to us is that Chad has pledged in writing, and you can see his survey and all of our surveys on our website right now at MissouriFirearmsCoalition.org. But Chad's pledged in writing to not just vote pro-gun, but to act pro-gun by sponsoring pro-gun bills. We have about 115, 117, 120, whatever it is, Republicans right now in the House Republican caucus. And we have only a handful who will lead in the fight for gun rights by sponsoring pro-gun bills. That's a real problem. Chad Brown says he will sponsor pro-gun bills and be a fighter when it comes to the Second Amendment. One of the bills we asked him about was an effort to repeal deadly gun-free zones. Missouri, sadly, has 18 areas where it's off limits for you and I as gun owners to carry a firearm. It never stops criminals. We all know that. It's a target. It's a flashing, arrow, red arrow to these areas, incentivizing criminals to come to these areas because they know that we can't fight back. It's lunacy. They have to be repealed. Chad Brown agrees, and he would sponsor that bill in Jefferson City. The other bill we asked Chad about was preemption reform. If you live anywhere near St. Louis, anywhere near Kansas City, or other cities now, Columbia, Springfield, and others, you know we have a growing problem here in Missouri with these cities who are trying to violate state law and pass their own local gun control. Missouri's preemption law is clear. Only the General Assembly has the right to pass laws when it comes to firearms and ammunition here in Missouri. That's it. There's no exceptions, no wiggle room. The problem is, when this code was passed a very long time ago, there was no teeth added to the bill, to the law. And so right now, St. Louis can say, yeah, screw you. We're not going to follow the law. What are you going to do about it? We have to increase preemption reform by having teeth in the law that allows gun owners who are impacted by these unconstitutional and illegal actions by these cities to sue those departments in civil court. That's what preemption reform is all about. It's a hot topic here in Missouri, and Chad Brown would sponsor that bill. All the rest of the questions we asked him, he's a no on red flag gun seizures, a no on AR-15 bans, a no on statewide gun registration, 100% pro-gun. That's Chad Brown. That brings up Mike Miller. And I got to say, Mike, when you watch this, honestly, you remind me of Aaron Tippin, and I always liked Aaron Tippin, so that's a big compliment coming from me. Mike Miller has also answered his survey, filled out the survey with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. The only difference, and it is worth mentioning, is that he promised to co-sponsor bills that Chad Brown said he would sponsor. It's still a supporting measure. It's not quite the same level of support. We thought you guys should know that. But he would co-sponsor efforts to repeal gun-free zones. He would co-sponsor efforts to bring preemption with actual teeth into fruition here in Missouri. and he also opposes red flag gun seizures, AR-15 bans, waiting periods, and everything else the gun grabbers are pushing every single day here in Missouri. So a very strong showing from Mike Miller as well. And that brings up Becky Laubinger. The problem with Becky Laubinger is she simply will not tell us, more importantly, will not tell you where she stands on your gun rights. Yeah, she's got 4 or 5 words, literally 4 or 5 words on her website, kind of that token throwaway line about the Second Amendment. But the real questions that we asked her through a survey, she will not answer. So we asked her, where are you on gun-free zone repeal? Becky Laubinger will not answer the question. Would you help us pass preemption reform to have actual teeth in it? She will not answer. We asked her, what about red flag gun seizures? She will not answer. We asked her, what about banning AR-15s? She won't answer. And I have to be clear on this. The idea of passing red flags, that's not just a Democrat idea here in Missouri anymore. We have a growing number of Republicans who are actively talking about this in real time in Jeff City every time we have a shooting. Just last session in February, I think it was February, the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City, as you guys all know now, some criminals shot some criminals. Didn't involve a law-abiding citizen, didn't involve a good guy with a gun. It was a criminal shooting a criminal, or a bunch of people, including criminals. And all of a sudden, House Republicans, the leadership team of the House Republicans, said, you know what, we're going to examine the causes of gun control here in Jeff City. And they talked about, in the news openly, talked about moving some form of red flag gun seizures. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about. We have a lot of Republicans who say they're pro-gun at election time, and then once they're in Jeff City, the moment the pressure mounts, they stab us in the back. It happens all too often. And so when a candidate will not complete the candidate survey, it's a very big warning sign to us here at the Missouri Firearms Coalition, and it should be to you too, as to how will that person react under the pressure in Jefferson City. So guys, the recap here is pretty simple. Chad Brown, 100% pro-gun. Everything we asked him, 100%. He'll sponsor bills. He'll fight to defend your gun rights. If you see Chad Brown, thank him for his strong showing on the survey and his willingness to fight by sponsoring pro-gun bills. If you see Mike Miller, thank him for his survey. It wasn't quite the same as Chad, but still very strong survey. Thank him for that and for his support of your gun rights. And if you see Becky Laubinger, I would ask her, why won't you fill out the candidate survey? It's not enough to tell me at an event that you're pro-gun. I want to know as a voter in the district, why won't you put your views in writing? Why won't you make it public like Mike Miller and Chad Brown did? Ask her that question, guys, and tell her to fill out the candidate survey. That's our recap in this race, guys. Hope you found it very informational. Do me a favor, if you're watching it right now on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, our website, wherever it is, share it on your own social media platforms. Help us get the word out there to see more race breakdowns. Check out all of our platforms online and get involved in the fight today, guys, at joinmofc.com.